people get stuck in these club gigs all the time, right? You could be playing Rockwood until you're like 70 years old, and you can become a regular, whatever. How did you, or was there a moment where you took that I'm playing a bunch of club gigs to, hey, I got a gig with Augustana, or like, hey, you write cues for TV now. That's pretty cool. Was there a moment of, I got this opportunity to do this and it kind of launched me, or is it just always a steady grind to...
Well, it's funny you mentioned those two things, specifically writing for television. The writing for television that I do and Augustana are actually connected and kind of illustrate this exact point you're talking about, or that we're about to discuss. And that's the networking side of things, right? So to answer your question directly, it's not like there was a single moment, but it was all a culmination of events, and a lot of it just involves what we can all say and hear till we're blue in the face, but you just have to put yourself out there, and do the best work possible and let people know about it. That's the other thing, which is easier now with social media in some ways, right?
Right.
But in some ways that makes the work even harder to do.
Yeah, because there's so much, and I preach this probably too much for people. It's on every episode, and it's the issue of there's so many outlets simultaneously. There's so many people to create things for those outlets, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. So there's an oversaturation, especially in the music market. And what gets me every time, and I'm not going to get dark because I'm very happy today, but what gets me all the time is a lot of the stuff that, especially artists that do it for artist's sake, for the art of it, for the expression, for the emotion. A lot of times they don't get heard because what cuts through is the garbage, in my eyes, of, okay, it's just catchy and it's quick and it's fine.
Yeah.
So is it harder now? You think, to be seen, but also more opportunities? So then what the heck do you do to actually cut through? You may not know it's an existential question, I guess. It's hard.
It's tough. I have to say that I'm not like uber successful in social media. I don't chase it. I mean, my production company, we do kind of a baseline, just advertising style of social media. So I can't answer that as an artist or a sideman per se. But, like the Augustana thing happened because the guitar player in that band was a friend of mine and needed a sub because he had a call for another gig. Now, how did I meet that guy? I actually wasn't very close with him at the time. We had met pretty recently, but we met on a gig with a band called Goldspot, who was led by this amazing composer, singer, multi-talented guy named Sid Khosla, who is now the composer for This Is Us, probably the biggest show on network television right now, drama. But that goes back to my time in Austin. I was out playing local gigs in Austin, and a friend of a friend, producer, guitar player friend of mine said, "Oh, you need to meet my other friend." And that friend was a drummer in a band called Goldspot. And he had just moved to Texas from L.A. Fabulous drummer named Rami Anton. And I was newly friends with Rami. I had just moved to Austin, so I didn't know these guys very long. And that's, I think, a big part of it, too. It's not like you need to know somebody for years and years for things to happen. These things can happen quickly if you're just out and doing things. So the work is cumulative, but the opportunities can happen in the blink of an eye, especially in a place like New York, or even Austin for that matter. It did for me.
Especially if you're not a dick.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. You got to be able to talk to people and just know how to be a good human being.